So my sister here, you are constantly in this situation like many other people in our world where you're in one part of the world, your husband is in another part. Sometimes we're together, sometimes we're not. What would you say to a woman your age who have to constantly be juggling between two worlds where she's not constantly with her spouse?
Okay. First thing, you have to have trust, respect, and obedience. My partner and I, we have been like this for years. We would not be in different countries, but the country that we live in, we would be in different areas due to his job. Sometimes he would be away for a month, for 2 months, 3 months. And from the offset, he would, when the kids were small, he would go to work during the week and I only see you on weekends. So I sort of get accustomed to that. So long before we had cell phones, we just have to trust each other, have mutual respect. And then after cell phone came in, then constant communication. And you have, as I said, trust is the number one thing. You have to trust, you have to be obedient and respectful to each other.
And communication is big in there. Brother Bob, there is a lot of young men that are looking for some kind of mentorship, are looking for counseling or advice from older men. If you were to advise a group of young men that are newly married, what would you tell them? What would you tell them as means of foundation for a successful marriage?
Well, so if I was counseling a young man who's reasonable and not to be a successful man, offset, as you know, each person will talk for the communication. One of the first things, your best friend has to be your wife. Meaning that we communicate morning, noon, and you talk about everything. Everything. It doesn't mean that it's going to be an advice issue you're seeking from your spouse, but just let you know how you can just express yourself about whatever situation that you're hit, so you know you're feeling, or he knows, vice versa with each other, and by that you're going to develop a friendship and a relationship where you can talk about anything. But when you start doing that, then secret drop aside. And once you know a secret between you both, then your relationship becomes easier to manage. It means that you don't keep stuff away from each other, and you started discussing more about life, what you want ahead, and how you feel. So if I don't like, every time I eat chicken, it tends to do this to me. It's an expression of yourself. So the next time you start cutting back and not cooking chicken, I try different method. And in that way, the same thing you say, I can't take in the garbage, just keep piling up. You're not throwing it out. You learn from that. You listen. So you both have to be listeners. And so when you go, you react to these things. So listening and communicating is the most important thing. As each one has been saying, you've got to communicate constantly.
Thank you. So listening and communication, the big thing here. I don't want to direct this question to a specific person, but I want this to be just a quick conversation. I want quick contribution on this. So two people are married, and you can look at it from either the angle of the man or the woman. Somebody got up one morning and think, I am not in love with this person anymore. I am not feeling this person. I am not feeling this relationship. How should they deal with this whole big question? I'm just not feeling this love, this relationship. I'm not feeling this person anymore. Who wants to try that?
First, they were in love in the first place. It's just a fantasy phase. They were both between. That's why.
So they were going through a fantasy phase, yes, but in their fantasy phase, they got married, and so today somebody got up and said, I'm not feeling this relationship anymore. What is your advice?
Well, they go because the fantasy is over.
So you would tell the person to leave?
I would tell the person, if you feel like going, you go.
As the other single on here, I'm sorry. As the other single on here who has no advice, but an outsider, I guess what I would say is, you have to think about what love is. And I think a lot of times people get caught up in love as the emotion, but love is a lot more than emotion. And you can see this to Jesus as love, right? Because did he feel like dying for our sins? Probably not. It's probably not something that was pleasant to him, but he suffered because he knew what it meant. And so if your love is for someone is just based on how you feel, then you really need to consider what love is and how you demonstrate love, because it's more of an action. And if you say like, I love you, but I can't stand when like you do this and you continue doing that thing that that person can't stand, you probably don't love them. You probably just love what they can offer you. And you need to consider yourself and really do some self-introspection.
Beautiful, Destiny, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. So let's hear, we're hearing from another older woman's point of view. Somebody get up one morning, I'm not in love anymore, I'm not feeling this relationship, I want out of it.
So, before you come to that conclusion that you're not in love anymore, based upon all the red flags that you're seeing in the home, you start to open a conversation and to speak about it, not in a angry way, to turn the person off, but to say what's happening here. Because we used to do this, or we used to go there, and so what is happening now? And because communication is very important in a marriage, because we can read each other's mind and to know what they are thinking or how they are feeling. Now, if when you speak of what is happening and how you feel, and the person is not relenting or the person is not doing anything about it, then you make a next move, and that is to probably talk about divorce then. And let us, if there's children, let us do co-parenting and let us go our separate ways.
The big thing is, there is issues in the relationship, issues are rising up. From a Christian perspective, what should be our next step? Should we consider seeking some counseling, or should we just go straight and bypass counseling and go to divorce?
Don't just go and make decisions on your own. Seek help, because you might make the worst decision of your life. We never ever.
So that is why you talk about it.
No, you get help first before you do it.
Good. We had a conversation. They talk about it. Somebody is saying, get some help. What are you saying about?
Each day, you get closer to your wife. So for you to get up and say you don't love it anymore, it means that has been simmering for over 3 or maybe 4 years.
Exactly.
So stuff has been happening and you're ignoring it. So it means that you're not been communicating. And so my advice to that person is take a step back and start saying, what attracted you to the person in the first place? What had drawn you and you had liked about this person from the day? Because you must have liked the person before you had got married. So what had you had liked before? So from there you start analyzing what went wrong. And as my dear sister said, get some, once analyze, you start jotting down and see, and you start see codes, or you can reverse this situation. Because this has been simmering for some years. It's not just overnight. It has been simmering. Anytime they say 2 persons they fall out of love, they have fallen out of love for 3 to 5 years. It just reached that point where they just say, I can't bother, I'm done. So I'm just saying, before you, from a Christian perspective, you're not going to say it's done. Something went wrong, just go back and try to correct. And so, like I said, counseling will be an avenue to take. And then not only just counseling, you start opening up more with each other. You have been maybe keeping quiet and holding down stuff and not saying anything because you say you don't want to hurt each other's feelings. Listen, in a marriage, speak what is on your mind. Straight. Don't hold things back with each other. Let each person know what the other is doing.
Thank you. Very good advice. Now I'm taking this question and I want a single person. I probably was being better doing first as a single person, and then I'm going to ask one of the married person to answer this question. You are in a relationship and you found that the person that you are in a relationship with has been unfaithful. What would you advise a single man, Brother Dwayne, courting, probably engaged, hoping to get married, and then find out that the person was unfaithful?
The situation of infidelity, I think you would have to take it on a case-by-case basis, because there's different types of cheating, right? There's physical cheating, there's emotional cheating, right? When maybe in your relationship, you're not feeling you're able to share with your partner, so now you start sharing emotionally with others, and, it starts there. The Bible says it starts with a thought, so I just think it all depends on the individual who has been cheated on. I think it depends on their capacity and their willingness to forgive the person and be okay with that, because sometimes people will forgive and say they've forgiven, but they're really not. And so I think it really something as complex like that is going to take time. It's not going to be solved in a matter of a conversation or two conversations. So I think if a mediator, a third party needs to get involved, you could see counseling in that case, because there's so many factors there. Trust has been broken. Can the person trust you? So yeah, I would say that something like that would take a lot of different factors, and that's also dependent on the person itself.
Thank you. You're still married, and then you are in that very peculiar situation of a lot of times you're not together with your spouse. Your spouse is cheating on you. You found out, yes, this is not maybe supposed. Be sure I know, yes, it did happen. How do you deal with it? How do you advise somebody to deal with a situation like that?
First, it's how much value you put on your relationship. If you found out that the person has cheated and you love your partner, you want your relationship to go further, you try to get it solved. You get counseling, you ask the person what they want. Is it me you want or the other person? What do you want from your relationship? And if the person is sorry for what they've done, you can't do anything but to forgive and try to build so that that person don't look the other way at any point in time. You try to, if you were slacking up in communication, try and communicate. If you were, because sometimes people cheat for different reasons, as Brother Dwayne said. Sometimes you ill-treat the person, you disrespect the person, and they just go out to find some love or some form of support. So that is why you have to be respectful in your relationship. And as I said, try and find out what it is, what was the root cause, and try and fix it.